Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
Welcome to Lord Blood-Rah's Wrackin Theatre.
My lords and ladies, geeks, geekerellas, geekulas, and geekeritas, I am Lord Blood-Rah, and this is Lord Blood-Rah's Nerve-Wrackin Theater. And every town across the country, across the world I'm sure, has its local celebrities. Local newscasters or weather forecasters, radio personalities, and, of course, horror hosts. And so it is that tonight's feature is brought to us by a group of local celebrities from 1965 Wichita, Kansas. Tonight, it's the ferocious fossilized fear of the beast from the beginning of time. This feature was financed by KARD-TV, as it was known back then, Channel 3 on the TV dial, back when TVs had dials. To round out the budget for this film, staff of the station and some of the cast contributed out of their own pockets, growing the budget to a whopping $10,000. Now, this film is such a Wichita local production that a girl in one of the scenes who was attacked along with her boyfriend in a car by the beast was played by the 17-year-old homecoming queen from the local high school. Well, let's jump into this local labor of love. From 1965, courtesy of Wichita, Kansas, here is The Beast from the beginning of time.
Maury, Professor Maury, come quickly. What the deuce do you want, man? Can't you see I'm busy? I know you are, Maury. I wouldn't interrupt you if I didn't think it was important. Well, all right, man, out with it. What is it? Maury, the workmen have found something. Remarkable. The workmen have found something. That's remarkable. Now, what the devil do you think we're here for except to find something? No, this is something you have to see, Maury. Oh, all right. There it is, Maury. It's a hand, a human hand. Hand me that trowel. No, that's all right. I can break it away. Yeah, the rock just seems to fall away from it. That's the way they found it. Didn't you, Pablo? He just stepped up here on the promontory and the rock fell away, just popped off like a peanut shell. Say, isn't this the same strata that we took the reptile fossil from? Good Lord, you've been here. You're a geologist, don't you know, man? Well, of course, I'm just a little excited, Maury, that's all. Maury, you suppose the whole body's here? How could it be? How could anyone bury a body in this rock? And Maury, this must be a... Oh, will you shut up? Henderson. Yeah. Get them to work removing this thing here, and be sure they get plenty of rock with it. Here. Vámonos, muchachos. Tell them to start right here. You understand? Take it easy. No. What's the matter with them? They're scared. They think it's a devil. Un diablo. Stupid, idiotic pigs. Well, tell them it's a very dead devil. That can't hurt them. El diablo muerte. Caroline. Pronto. Pronto. Bravo. How long are you going to be at the site, John? Oh, no more than a few days. Maury called last night and said they expected to finish up the excavation work sometime today. Oh, did it go well? Well, evidently quite well. Maury seemed very excited. They extracted some beautiful specimens, remarkably well-preserved fossils, especially the Cretaceous. But he thought I should be there for the wind-up of things. Fine field and research man, but he's woefully disinterested in the humdrum. You know, crating, stenciling, cataloging, and the like.
Probably gives him an excuse not to bathe. Not that I've ever noticed he needed an excuse to avoid that civilized ritual.
Now, Ford, he's a dedicated man. Brilliant talents, enormous energy. I wish he'd channel some of those energies into his relationship with his fellow man. Ah, I suspect you've received the Maury treatment, too. Too? Continually. But confound it, I've met the fellow a dozen times and have had to introduce myself to him every blasted time. Now, I ask you, John, is Barston such an easily forgotten name? Now, who's being facetious?
Well, I only hope some of his bad manners haven't rubbed off on young, what's his name, the fellow that's with him.
Randall. Creighton Randall.
Yes, Randall, that's it. Now, there's a young man that impressed me. A very bright, very pleasant chap.
He's very personable, and he can learn a lot from Maury, especially in the field. I just can't see how you place all that faith in him, John. Confound it, I like a man who can look me dead in the eye. Now, you can tell what sort of a fellow that type of man is, but this furtive, shifty acting type... And that, Mr. Barston, is why you retain me. I do it, then you don't have to. Oh, come on, Ford, don't sit there smoldering. As soon as we get back, I'll start Professor Maury on a crash refresher program on the handling and ego-nourishing of the museum's board of directors. Specifically, its chairman, one Ford R. Barston III. Or is it the fourth? Now, confound it, John, now you're making me seem pompous. Ford, you are pompous.
I, pompous? Well, by Gadfrey, I don't know if I appreciate that. I've never felt that I was overly impressed with my importance. In fact, if anything, I feel...
Are we interrupting anything?
Yes, thank heaven. Ford was about to soar into a discourse on one of his many virtues, I think. At least I ask you, how do you tolerate this fellow?
I have no choice, Mr. Barston. That's the curse of being a younger sister. I try to bear the stigma as gracefully as possible.
Well, I'm glad to see that at last there's someone in the world besides me who can see behind the mask of respectability the scoundrel wears. Good for you, Elise.
Assassins, you're both assassins. Ford, have you met my assistant, Paul Benson?
I met Mr. Barston at the Marshall Foundation tea. It's good to see you again, sir. Oh, yes, of course. Good to see you,
Benson.
I know his name, confounded. Yes, good to see you again, Benson. Real pleasure.
Everything ready to go, Elise?
As you commanded, sire. Bags packed, here are the plane tickets, and the car outside to take you to the airport.
You're a very efficient young lady, Elise. Very efficient. It's a good thing you are, because what are you all staring at me for?
Why, you were telling me you were the expert on the vagaries of behavior of scientific ducks like me. Don't you know? We're ready to go.
But I haven't finished my drink yet.
Generosity is my finest virtue, Ford. You may take it with you.
You see what I mean, Elise?
I do. He's incorrigible.
Ford.
Oh, all right, but I won't take your blasted drink with me.
Good. It's high in calories anyway. Let's see if I have everything. Papers in the briefcase. Airplane tickets in my pocket.
Luggage in the car. Come on. The plane leaves at 2:30 and it's 2 right now.
Oh, all right. Just a minute.
Well, confound it, you rushed me through my drink, and now you aren't even sure you're ready.
Come on, brother dear. You have everything.
All right, all right.
Oh, Benson. Say, if you get the opportunity down there, see if you could arrange to have this abomination of a museum director deposited in some nice deep hole, will you? He needs it.
So far, we've learned 3 things. 1, Professor Maury is not a friendly guy.
Maury, the workmen have found something. Remarkable. The workmen have found something. That's remarkable. Now, what the devil do you think we're here for except to find something?
And Maury, this must be a... Oh, will you shut up?
2, Professor Maury is a fine field and research man, but he's stinky.
Fine field and research man, but he's woefully disinterested in the humdrum. You know, crating, stenciling, cataloging, and the like.
Probably gives him an excuse not to bathe. Not that I've ever noticed he needed an excuse to avoid that civilized ritual.
And 3, the rotund Mr. Barston is being played by Henry Harvey, who played Freddie Fudd, imagined cousin of Elmer Fudd, on the Freddie, Fudd, and Debbie show on KAKE-TV, Wichita, Kansas in the 1950s. Freddy would host cartoons from his treehouse while on the lookout for that wascally wabbit, Bugs Bunny. The show continued into the 1970s, but to local children, his most famous role occurred every Thanksgiving when he would become Santa Claus, counting down the days to Christmas. So, to recap, Professor Maury is grumpy and stinky, and Henry Harvey isn't. We'll be right back.
I'm Vincent Price, and you're invited to my party in the house on Haunted Hill, where so far the ghosts have murdered only 7 people. So won't you come and make it 8? You'll see human heads without bodies. Mysterious pools of blood dripping from the ceiling. The walls move slowly in against you. Don't try to escape, you can't. You ready, dear?
No.
Are you ready, dear?
Yes, damn you.
The ghosts are waiting, so won't you join me in the house on Haunted Hill? Hurry, or you'll be late for your own funeral. Come in.
I surprised her in her room. She was not alone. With my own hands, I killed her.
Starring Boris Karloff.
Take this gun. Escort this gentleman from the castle. If he resists, kill him.
The Terror. His evil mystic powers go beyond man's wildest imaginings. The Terror, empowered to avenge, to reward, to transform.
I do love you.
Is she a blood and flesh beauty a man can enjoy?
I am possessed of the dead.
Or is she a gossamer myth, created by a madman's distorted desires?
Take your life as you took mine, and bring us together forever.
Join Boris Karloff, the Frankenstein monster of all horror motion pictures, in his most blood-chilling screen experience.
As we return to the beast from the beginning of time, the grumpy and stinky Professor Maury seeks to solve the mystery of their weird archaeological find.
Now, be careful, you idiots. Don't drop that. I don't want that tarp to fall off.
Easy. Don't drop it, you idiots. Easy. All right, Henderson, get him out of here.
Okay, hombres. Find us.
Henderson,
Yeah.
take him back to town and pay him off.
What about crating and loading?
If you just do as you're told, Randall and I will take care of the crating. You just get your truck back here the day after tomorrow morning. You understand?
You're the boss.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Is that thing a man?
Yes, it seems to be some sort of a primitive man. It's nothing out of the ordinary, though. You know, mummies are being excavated from this part of the Southwest every day from Indian burial mounds. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back the day after tomorrow morning, as early as possible.
All right, hombres. Hola. They're leaving. Good. Why'd you let them go, Maury?
Why not? Well, I mean, all the work we've got left, the inventory, the crating.
Afraid you're going to have to do your share of the work now?
Hardly fair.
Well, Crawford and Benson will be here at the site anyway. The four of us can certainly handle it. Look, we can't know the full significance of this yet, but I don't want to run the risk of those workmen babbling about it in town. You heard them. Un diablo, a devil. Those superstitious fools.
Does it really matter if they do?
Are you questioning my decision?
No.
Then do me a favor and shut up.
Oh, I'm sorry. What time are we to meet their plane?
Our watch is stopped. What time do you have?
4:15.
Well, I'd better go then. The plane's due at 5:30.
Don't you want me to go, too?
Well, of course not. We can't leave this thing unguarded. You'd better stay here.
Oh, you're right. Maury, won't Crawford be elated when he sees our discovery?
Yes, I'm sure he will. But while I'm gone, Randall, why don't you see if you can remove some more of this rock? Doesn't seem to be adhering to the flesh. Shouldn't be too difficult. Here. Like this. Get a bit of light.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Good. Well, I'd better go.
Yes, you'd better. I'll see y'all later.
Dr. Crawford, Benson, over here. Bernie, it's good to see you. I'm sorry our plane was late. Did we keep you waiting long? No, not at all, not at all. Good to see you, Doctor. Benson, Bernie?
Say, this Texas sun must really agree with you. You're as brown as a berry.
Yes, well, there you are. Oh, I got you a motel on the edge of town. There's a good restaurant there, as good as any in town.
Well, I thought we were going to stay at the site, Bernie.
Well, you could, but we've been roughing it pretty much recently. You know, small tent, a couple of cots, and it'll be dark before long. Oh, I thought maybe after your long trip you'd like a little more comfort than our camp affords. I can pick you up first thing in the morning. Well, perhaps you're right. Randall stay at the site? Yes, he thought it'd be best.
Guarding the treasures, huh?
Yes, you might say that. I think you're going to be very impressed with the specimen, Doctor.
Well, I'm sure I will, Bernie, but I must confess I was looking forward to seeing them this evening.
Well, you forced me to admit something, Doctor. You know me. I've kept myself and Randall so busy with the excavating that, well, I'm afraid the details, the cataloging, is pretty much of a mess. Matter of fact, that's why Randall stayed, to try to get some order into it. I know, Doctor. You've told me before. Detail work certainly isn't my strong point.
True enough, Bernie, but you know that makes no difference to us.
Please, Doctor, indulge me in this. I desperately want you both to be impressed.
No, I have to admit, a good meal and a night's sleep sound just fine to me. Let's go pick up the luggage.
You're back. Where are Benson and Crawford?
They decided to stay in town. Tired, I guess. I'll pick them up in the morning. You've made good progress.
Yes, you were right. The shale literally falls away from it. Well, that's odd. I would have thought Crawford would have been hard to restrain after you told him about finding the body.
Oh, you got any coffee made? I haven't eaten yet.
Only camp stuff. You did tell him, didn't you? No. For God's sake, why not? Oh, I wanted to surprise him. I wanted him to see the body after we had it completely extricated. And we'd better get at it if we're going to get it done. What are you staring at me for?
Nothing, Maury. Nothing at all. I just can't figure you out. I would have been bursting to tell Crawford about our discovery if I were you.
Fortunately for me, you're not. Now, let's get to work. How old do you figure, Bernie? How old? You know, it's hard to say exactly. The scintillometer tells us that according to the carbon atom deterioration, his age is in excess of several million years. Now, couple that with the strata in which we found him, and I'd say, 60 million years. 60 million? Fantastic. But how? Did that charred bit of flesh we took from the scalp been burned at a later date? Through 12 feet of shale? Then he must be that old, Marty. I checked the scintillometer only yesterday, and it's working perfectly. Imagine a man, a perfect Neanderthal type, living right in the middle of the reptilian age. Well, you know what this means? This fellow knocks every accepted evolutionary theory into a cocked hat. I'm well aware of it. But what could have preserved a body like this? The hair, the sinew. Look, there's even whisker stubble on the chin. Chemicals in the shale, I'd imagine. What about this laceration on the skull cap? Well, I thought at first he must have struck his head, or been struck on the head. But that charred flesh around the wound would seem to indicate otherwise. And notice the constriction of the muscles in the extremities, as though he sustained some severe electrical shock. Now, this is only a guess, but it could be that he was caught out in some primordial thunderstorm and was struck by a bolt of lightning, right here on the top of his head. Electrocuted. That must be it, Maury. He was electrocuted, and somehow, only God knows, the body remained preserved. Now, judging from the shell crayfish that we took from the rock, he must have fallen into a swamp, and the body remained intact. Perfectly intact. It's been a good part of the night. It's 2:15.
Yes, we'd better get some sleep. I promised Crawford we'd pick them up early this morning.
You know, I can hardly wait for Dr. Crawford's reaction when he sees our reptile man.
He's not going to see him.
What do you mean he's not going to see him? Exactly that. We're not going to tell him we found him. Why, Maury? Why? Good Lord, man, don't you grasp the significance of this? That corpse is going to revise all scientific thinking as to man's first hour on the evolutionary timetable. Darwin be damned, Randall. This is going to be the new anthropology. Oh, of course I get the significance of it, Maury, but why keep it a secret? You're a naive fool, Randall. This thing's importance demands more than its gathering dust in some dark museum alcove. It's worth a fortune. How? Exhibit it. Exhibit it. Like a carnival freak? The Japanese merman and a bottle of alcohol, the two-headed boy? Is that what you want? We're scientists, Maury, not cheap con men. Besides, it's not ours to do with what we want. We found it, didn't we? We broke our backs these months in that abominable heat. We've earned it, Randall. Well, you can count me out. I want no part of it.
You know what? Professor Maury is not only grumpy and stinky, he's sneaky, too.
Larry!
From the exotic geisha houses of Tokyo to the back alleys of the Ginza Strip comes the terrifying news of a fiendish creature that threatens to destroy all who stand in his way. This is the frightening story of an American reporter in Tokyo who unwittingly became the victim of a shocking scientific experiment that turned him into a horrible mutant, half man, half monster, the Manster.
He got
away.
I think I know where he's going, to Taurus. Follow me.
Right.
There's panic in the streets as the unheard-of terror of a half-man, half-monster runs wild through the city.
There he goes!
Don't miss The Manster, a genuine thriller in the most frightening sense of the word.
Okay, banga banga.
Since when do you talk a native language?
I just started today.
Well, what do you say?
What did he say? I don't even know what I said.
I need you, oh, my do I, baby? Of course I do. Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo turn an island paradise into the zaniest madhouse in the 7 seas. Charlita puts a gleam in Duke Mitchell's eyes. Your smile only added life to your masquerade. Muriel Landers puts the whammy on Sammy.
Sammy! Run for your life! Go on, get out of here. Run for your life.
Ramona, the romantic chimp, takes off on a romantic chase of her own.
Strange. But interesting.
Really think so? What a charming compliment.
Bela Lugosi finds the perfect subject to turn a gorilla into a goof, and versa versa.
Look, what are you trying to tell me? I don't understand a word. What am I, dumb or something? Don't answer that. Now look, Duke Mitchell, I'm running this game, you understand? And don't talk back. Yeah, now put it on, because we gotta get out that door.
As we return to the beast from the beginning of time, the grumpy, stinky, sneaky Professor Maury seems to be running into some resistance from his young assistant, Randall. What are you going to do, Randall?
Well, I'm not going to tell Dr. Crawford about this conversation. But I am going to tell him that we found it.
No, you're not, Randall.
I'm not. Listen. I've put up with you these months because you're the head of this expedition, but not any longer. I'm sick of your tin-god tactics, Maury. I'm fed up right to here. You're not roping me into this insane plot, and you're not telling me what to do.
I think you will, Randall. You see, I know about that incident in California, the affair with the Morrison girls.
How did you find out?
So I make it my business to find out as much as possible about the museum personnel.
Well, go ahead and tell Dr. Crawford if you want to. I don't think he'd let it jeopardize my position now.
Oh, of course not. Not dear, understanding Dr. Crawford. But I doubt if the board of directors would be as understanding of your indiscretion, shall we call it, if they were to find out. Museum reputation, you know.
All right, Maury, have it your own way.
Don't worry, Randall. I've got it all planned out. Now, we crate up the body before I pick up Crawford. We think it as tools or something on the inventory list. Now, I know Crawford. He'll be so engrossed in his fossils that he won't pay any attention at all. Then, when we get back to Farnfield, we make sure that we drop it off at the warehouse unopened. Then what? Then, a little later, you and I take a field trip on our own. And that's when we discover it. No museum affiliations, all on our own.
I don't know.
It'll work, Randall. And you and I are going to make the greatest scientific discovery in history. Just the two of us.
Wrong there, Professor. There's going to be 3 of us.
Well, I guess that's everything except for the body and the specimens.
Well, I'd better be going. Henderson, help Randall crate up the body, will you? Unless that runs contrary to your newly acquired status.
Well, I'm just along for the ride. You can call the shots.
Be sure you label that crate tool. I will. Walk to the car with me.
Looks like rain filling up over there. Well, be sure you've got the tarp on tight. Look, you have a gun. So what in the world for? Here. Take this. Henderson's up to something. He's been acting too cooperatively. You know, the stakes are too high in this for him to be botched up by him. So take this and put it in your shirt and use it if you have to. Go ahead, take it, put it in your shirt. It won't burn you. Be sure you get that body crated up. Are you listening to me?
Yes, I heard.
All right, I'll be back by noon.
What's so amusing?
I just wondered if you was planning on using it.
What in the world are you talking about?
That gun Maury gave you. Yeah, the way that devil-dealing rat had figured it.
You're hardly the person to be calling him names.
Why not? You see, Randall, the only difference between you and me is I don't pretend to be nothing but what I am. You guys put up the front, big brains. Still, here inside, you ain't one bit better than me.
Ah, you're right. We're all running.
Yeah, that's where I got you, Randall. You got a conscience. It's going to dog you all through this business.
Will you shut up?
No. If you and me was real smart, we'd crate that thing up right now and get out of here. So more than you ever get back.
In this rain.
Okay, little that long. Why, this time of year, these gully washers blow out just as fast as they come in. They'll be gone in another quarter hour. Everything you. Why shouldn't we cut that weasel out? That 5 cents he ain't. You like this to him too much to do that?
No. Look at this mess. Now listen. Maury told me to use this if I have to. So don't push me, Henderson. By heaven, I will use it if you give me any trouble.
You would? I believe you would. You're that scared.
Yes, I'm scared. And I'll use this if I have to. Now, come on. Get in that tent and let's get that corpse crated.
Where are the workmen? Oh, we let them go yesterday. Have a little surprise for you. We crated all the tools yesterday and loaded them before we picked you up this morning, all ready to go. Well, I'm elated, Bernie. The specimens are still unpacked. Oh, yes, of course. We've got them tagged, but I thought you'd want to see them first. Who's that by the truck? That isn't Randall. No, that's Henderson, Plug Henderson. He was foreman of the work gang. That's his truck. We kept him on to help with the loading.
Get ready. Henderson, good Lord.
How in the world? Randall. Must have been Randall. Paul, get a tarp and cover this poor fellow. Yes, sir. Where's Randall? Randall? This tent hasn't been struck. It's been torn down. It looks like a tornado has come through here. Randall! Randall! Professor Moore! There's someone over there. Randall, what happened to Henderson, man? Clayton, listen to us.
He seems to be suffering from shock. We've got to get him to a doctor right away.
Clayton, come on.
Clayton, come with us.
Away from me. Don't come near me. It's gonna be buried, you hear me? Why, you blind fool, you should have known. Shut up and listen. You saw Henderson, didn't you? That's what it can do, Maury. That's what it can do.
What does he mean, it? Randall, did you kill Henderson?
No, you idiot. Didn't you hear me? It did. We never should have taken it from the earth, Maury. It's against nature. We've got to bury it again, Maury. God, we don't. It'll kill us all. We've got to bury it, Maury. Bury it deep.
What's he talking about?
Randall, listen to me, Randall. What did you do with the corpse?
Don't you understand? It's got to be buried. It did it. It did it. You think I'm crazy, don't you? You've got to believe me, Maury. It's got to be buried.
Where is the body?
Over there, where he fell.
was talking about. Yes. Good Lord, Bernie, it looks like a... Now, the way I'd say it, you'd be right. It's the body of a prehistoric man. And fantastic as it seems, we took it from the same strata as the reptile bone. It's dead now. And we've got to get it back in the ground, do you hear? We will, Randall, we will. But you need medical attention. No, it's got to be buried. I promise you, Randall, we will bury it. Maury and I will bury it for you, I promise. Now, will you go to town with Paul, please? Good. And Paul, get in touch with the sheriff as soon as you get to town. All right. Come on, Creighton. They'll take care of it. Come on. You said you removed this corpse from the same deposits as the dinosaur fossils, Maury. Are you suggesting that this body is that old? I'm not suggesting anything, Doctor. I'm stating a fact. Now, look here. You see that ruptured flesh on the cranium? Yeah. The charred area? Well, Randall and I ran carbon-14 tests on a bit of it. The atomic disintegration indicates its age in excess of several million years. Impossible. Improbable. Not impossible, Doctor. Could there have been a malfunction in the scintillometer? No. We checked it thoroughly. And look here, Doctor. He's a comparatively advanced representative of human evolution. I've noticed the location of where the spine joins the skull. Pronounced evidence of a chin. Near Neanderthal type. Yes, that's what I thought. But why? Why is the corpse in such an amazingly excellent state of preservation? Anything that ancient should be a mass of broken, petrified bones. If not that, at least mummified. Why, these muscles are supple. Its skin is spongy, almost like living tissue. There must have been some chemical properties of the shale that... Oh, that's odd. Yes, most odd. No, I mean, when we discovered this body yesterday, the limbs were rigid. Those muscles were all constricted. But now they're completely relaxed. You found it yesterday? Well, undoubtedly, the body is starting to deteriorate. We should get it into some sort of refrigeration as soon as possible. Yes, by all means. It hasn't lain down here since yesterday, has it? Of course not. We took it to the tent just as soon as we had it free from the rock strata. Matter of fact, we spent the better part of last night removing the shale from around it. No, Randall must have dragged it down here after he went berserk and killed Henderson. If he killed Henderson. We better get it out of the sun. Give me a hand and we'll put it in the back of the station wagon.
Poor Randall needs a nice long rest. He's been through a lot. I mean, what with seeing that fossilized prehistoric corpse go on a homicidal rampage and all. The actor playing Randall is John Frome, another popular figure from Wichita TV. He was a weatherman on KAKE TV, as well as a cartoon show host called The Old Cobbler. He also created the legendary Kansas horror host show Nightmare, but more on that later.
For 2 million years in these subterranean caves, a creature of superhuman evil was entombed in a wall of ice, waiting to be free, waiting to live again. Travel with us on a journey into a world where nightmare becomes reality.
Are you telling me that an ape that lived 2 million years ago got onto that crate, killed the baggage man and put him in there?
Yes, I am. It's alive. It must be.
Travel with us, if you dare, on the Horror Express.
We'll search the train and find it, whatever it is, and destroy it. But if it's alive...
I want this kept quiet. I don't want to panic the passengers.
The malignant power of this creature is indestructible, transferring its force from mind to mind, from body to body.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
You think evil can be killed with bullets? Satan lives.
The animal that you shot was only the host. It's alive in someone on this train.
You saw his eyes. One look at them and you're dead.
Anything that moves near that door, kill it!
Run. Run for your life. Hide, but you can't escape. No one can stop the fury and the terror of the Horror Express.
Dance, baby, dance, come and dance with me. Hear the beat of the pounding sea. Ride, baby, ride, come and ride with me. Let your feet go easy.
What do you make of this? Where does the other end go? It dumps into the ocean.
It looks exactly like the South American Fantigua fish. I hope you can take one alive, Sheriff.
I still believe that a human clawed that girl to death. The Beach Girls and the Monster, starring John Hall, Sue Casey, and the glamorous Watusi dancing girls from Hollywood's famed Whiskey A Go-Go nightclub. Music by Frank Sinatra Jr.
You got a monster in the surf.
Chicks, do you have a problem? You won't have after you meet the monster on the beach. If you see this ghoul, play it cool. Beauties in bikinis, laughing, singing, surfing, sinning. Beach party lovers making hey hey in the moonlight while the monster waits and watches. Yeah. This one will kill you.
One of the most bizarre crime stories in Las Mesas County history reached a climax today when a jury of 8 men and 4 women found scientist Creighton Randall guilty of murder in the first degree. Randall had been accused of the shovel slaying of Cletus Henderson, the local labor contractor who had been employed by a field party of the Parnfield Museum of Natural History. Randall was a member of that party. The grisly murder followed the momentous discovery of the completely intact body of a prehistoric...
Well, according to that psychiatrist that the board appointed, this Randall fella showed let's see, what did he call it? A pronounced psychopathic personality. Yeah, that's it, a psychopathic personality.
Then you believe that Randall actually did kill Henderson, Sheriff?
Oh, there ain't no doubt of it, Doctor. Used that sharpshooter on him.
At times, he seems most rational. When he is, he keeps insisting that that body they discovered came to life to kill Henderson.
Yes, and he becomes almost panicky when he senses we didn't rebury it.
Now, I don't know much about this, but in that psychiatrist's testimony, he said it was typical, having an imaginary person guilty of a crime that he committed. Now, it seems to me that Randall had his tailor-made in this thing you dug up.
The board recommended that he be committed to a state institution for the criminally insane. Will that be here?
No, sir, I think arrangements are being made to send him back near his home.
Good. You have our address, Sheriff, if you need us again.
Yep, but I don't think we will. Say, where's that other feller, Maury?
He's at the freight office making arrangements for the shipment of our specimens. However, we are going to fly the prehistoric body to the museum. Can't afford to waste time.
Let me ask you something, Doctor. It ain't none of my business, but is this body you dug up that all-fired important?
Well, the mere fact that the flesh is so well preserved is remarkable in itself. But if its age is confirmed as being contemporary with the dinosaurs, it'll be a most momentous discovery. By the way, Sheriff, I'd like to thank you for clearing our crates for shipment so quickly. We appreciate that.
Why, there wasn't no need holding them. Say, that caveman. You know, that doggone thing looked as much like a monkey as it did a man.
Sheriff, you come to Parnfield sometime, and I'll show you some reconstructions that make this fellow look ultra-modern by comparison.
That one's enough for this old boy.
Sheriff, I wonder if I could speak with Randall before we leave.
Well, I don't know. He ain't making much sense.
We were very close friends.
Well, I guess it's all right. He's in room 302. So, you just give this to the guard outside his door there, and he'll let you in. But listen, if that fella gets violent, you yell for him. You understand? I shouldn't be letting you do this in the first place.
Well, thank you, Sheriff.
Quite all right.
I think everything will be all right.
I hope you'll be all right.
Sure you will, too.
You've been most cooperative, Sheriff. Thank you very much.
Glad to be able to help you fellas, Doctor. Come back.
I'll meet you at the car in about 10 minutes, Doctor.
Fine, Paul.
I'll be right outside if you need me. I'll knock. Crazy. It's Paul.
Have they buried it yet?
Yes? Yes, it's buried.
Thank God. It could kill again.
Look, Creighton, can you tell me more about this thing killing Henderson?
Why? You don't believe me, do you?
Of course I believe you.
Watch Maury.
Maury?
You don't know about Maury. Nobody does, but I do.
Yes, I will. Now, tell me how that corpse could have killed Henderson.
The lightning. It's got to be buried before it storms again. It feeds on the lightning. It's its life. Please, Paul, bury it.
It is buried.
No. Let it get Maury first. That despicable vermin. Let him steal it like he planned to do. Then let it get Maury like it got Henderson. Oh, it was awful. Oh. It's gotta be buried, Paul. It's gotta be buried.
Yes, great. You lie there and rest. We'll take care of it.
Down here, Paul.
I thought you were in the car.
Oh, my curiosity got the best of me. Tell me, do you believe there's more to this story than we know?
No, I suppose not. But I'm not sold on that psychiatrist's conclusions. I find it hard to believe that Randall was capable of committing such an atrocious crime, no matter what his mental state.
Well, who then? You certainly don't think that body came to life and did it.
At this stage, I just don't know, Doctor.
Could Maury have done it before he came to pick us up?
No, the time of death set by the coroner eliminates that possibility. It's just that, well, at the time we found Randall, he seemed more hysterical than insane. Though he'd just been confronted with some indescribable horror.
Is he more rational now?
No, not really. One thing for certain, though, he despises Maury. Implied he was planning to steal the body.
Good heavens, what for? To start his own museum?
As I said, he wasn't rational.
By George, I just can't get over you finding this, what do you call this thing?
Oh, we haven't even taken time to think about a name for it yet. Newspaper boys have come up with some colorful ones, though. What was that one in this morning's paper, Elise?
Let's see. Sorry the man makes monkey out of evolution.
Did you see tonight? Which came first, the monkey or the man?
Ouch! That should make some of your colleagues bristle, John. You think it hasn't already? Why, no less than 10 of our leading paleontologists have demanded that I prove its age.
You are certain, aren't you?
Have you no faith in its Ford?
Well, yes, but I...
Well, put your mind at ease. We are sure. Maury and Benson and I have been burning the midnight oil for the past 3 weeks just to be certain. And every possible test has pointed to one hard fact. That body is definitely many millions of years old. Now, how do you explain a man who should have lived, how many years ago? 50, 60,000? Yes, how do you explain his being contemporary with the dinosaurs?
Now, that's the question we were afraid you'd ask.
We don't explain it. How could we?
Why don't you all continue this discussion in the living room while Grace and I clear the table?
confounds me. If that body is so blasted old, how come it's so well preserved?
Oh, perhaps a fortunate combination of chemicals in the swamp into which it had fallen may account for it. However, Bernie has a more imaginative theory.
What's that?
Bernie?
Well, I agree in part with Dr. Crawford.
That's generous.
Ford.
Go ahead, Bernie.
As I said, I agree in part. But the chemicals would have done little more than mummify the body. No, something else was needed to preserve it in the state in which we found it. Now, we know that he'd been struck by lightning, electrocuted. So I hypothesize that this severe jolt of electricity had halted the bodily processes, causing them to immediately cease to function as living matter, and arresting all cellular deterioration as well.
Holding them static, isn't that correct, Bernie?
Yes, static.
You believe this thing exists in a state of suspended animation?
In a sense, yes.
And that it actually isn't dead?
Not in the conventional sense of the word, no.
Nonsense. Utter nonsense.
Don't label it nonsense, Ford. We have to consider any theory that has a basis in fact.
Confound it, John. Are you letting this oddball rub off on you?
You insufferable boor. By what right do you pass judgment on me? Bernie, stop it. You keep out of this, Crawford.
You are through with this museum, Morey, and by heaven, I'll make sure you never find a place in any other.
Cool down, both of you. Now, Bernie, I'm sure that Ford didn't mean what he said in the way you took it.
I'll be hanged if I didn't. The confounded man's been a misfit ever since he joined us.
Well, that's a situation I intend to rectify at once. I'm sorry it turned out this way, Dr. Crawford.
Don't be hasty, Bernie. We'll talk about this in the morning.
No, I'm going by the museum and pick up my effects tonight.
And good riddance. After all, he was grumpy, stinky, and sneaky. The three worst dwarves all rolled into one. Well, I guess that's kind of unfair to Grumpy. Well, anyway, our cavalcade of Wichita celebrities rolls on with our country fried sheriff being played by Robert Dusty Herring, better known as Deputy Dusty, the longtime TV host of Western movies on Wichita TV. And soon, we'll come face to face with another legendary host.
Horrors of Spider Island.
8 beautiful girls and 1 lone man struggling for survival, with death, sudden, violent, and horrible, lurking in the shadows.
Horrors of Spider Island.
Out of the night came a fate worse than death. A man's mind twisted, his brain poisoned, with an uncontrollable lust to kill.
Horrors of Spider Island.
A tale of terror that will leave you limp. So hideous and shocking, you won't believe your eyes. His hunger for victims was never satisfied. Prepare to be frightened out of your wits by the
Horrors of Spider Island.
When an animal attacks a human, there's bound to be a lot of noise.
But I, as a scientist, take many things into consideration a layman might overlook.
Ever smelled anything like this before? Found it in Don Morton's bathroom.
Well, yes. That's the same stuff that's been on every one of the Devil Bat's victims.
All 4 of the murdered people had this lotion on them when the Devil Bat struck.
Lately, I'm afraid all these murders have affected your mind.
Now, my plan is to sit in the garden, and when the killer makes one of those power dives, I'll blast him.
Tonight you have work to do. It's time you were on your way.
Now back to the beast from the beginning of time, as there seems to be some sort of disturbance.
What's all the disturbance?
Congratulations, Ford. You were most diplomatic.
Did you expect me to sit there and take his insults?
I expected you to keep an open mind to any sincerely advanced theory, whether you thought he was wrong or not. Maury's had an exhausting 3 months of work, Ford, and to my way of thinking, he had far more legitimate excuse for his irritability than you.
Well, how could you expect any rational person to sit there without saying a word while some lunatic spins a cockeyed yarn about that thing being buried, neither dead nor alive, for 60 million years?
Could you prove it otherwise? Now, be honest, Ford. Had I advanced that theory, your reaction to it would have been far different, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, I suppose so. Oh, all right, I'll make it a point to apologize to the to the fellow in the morning.
I'm afraid that'll be too late. I think we should follow him to the museum tonight.
No, you go. I'll see him in the morning. I just couldn't right now, John. Let me cool down a little.
As you wish. Shall we go, Paul?
Certainly. Yes, well, I'll be running along. I'll see him first thing in the morning. Oh, Elise, thank you for your hospitality. The dinner was delicious.
Our pleasure, Mr. Bryson.
John, sorry about the, well, good night.
What in the world happened?
Mr. Barson and Maury crossed swords. We'd better go too, Paul. We want to catch him before he leaves the museum. I'll go out and bring the car around.
All right, I'll be right out, Doctor. Good night, darling.
Aren't you coming back with John for nightcap?
You'd rather I would?
Yes. These past few weeks have been so horrible for all of us. I'd like to spend just a little time like we used to sit and talk. It seems there hasn't been a word exchanged between any of us unless it pertains to that dreadful corpse of poor Creighton.
You're right, Elise. I'll be right back. There's John now. I'll see you later.
Hold your horses. I'm coming. Who's there? Open up, Murray. Open up. How come you got caught out in the rain tonight, didn't you, Professor?
Yes, I did. It's regular downpour.
Gonna do a little night work tonight?
Yes, Charlie.
Well, the lights are all off down there. You want me to come with you and turn them on for you?
No, I can manage.
Well, if you need old Charlie, I'll be down in the furnace room. Just holler. By gum, a strange fellow, that fella.
Barson, that fat fool. Don't you have 24-hour service? Well, all right, then. I need a truck at once. What? 2 hours? Why 2 hours? Oh, damn the storm. What? Well, when? Now, look, I'll give you double the usual charge. What? Hello? Hello? Dead. Charlie? Is that you, Charlie? Dr. Crawford? Paul? Well, speak up, man. What is it? Oh, no! No! Oh, please! Do you find it credible, Doctor? Well, the flesh hadn't deteriorated, and the intestines, the vital organs are intact. Then it could be. Oh, I suppose so. Why? What do you think, Paul? Well, this may sound crazy, but I don't think Grayson killed Henderson. What? I believe the corpse of the Neanderthal did. Good Lord, how? Well, I don't know exactly. Perhaps Randall was right. The lightning. He seemed terrified that the storm would break before we buried the corpse. Now, if conditions have been brought about by lightning, it could be that it's regenerated by it. What do you think? Could this be possible? I don't know, Paul. I just don't know. It's Bart still here. That's wet. John must be down in the basement. Do you have your keys, Paul? Yeah, I think they're right here. Right. He's probably in his office. The body is good. All right. Doctor, look. Is he dead? Yes, his neck's broken. I'll get his gun, Paul. Here, you take this. We may need it. Good Lord. My God, it's Maury's arm. We've got to call the police. Hello. Hello. Dead. Look, here, Doctor. Those are his footprints. It must have dragged Maury's body through there. What do we do now? Follow that trail of blood. We've got to find Maury. Hadn't better go for the police? No, I think we better try to find Maury first. Then you can go for the police. Me? Hadn't we both better go? No, I think one of us should stay here and try to keep that thing in the building. The service door is the only one that's unlocked, isn't it, Paul? Yes, as far as I know. But, Doctor, one of us is no match for that thing. This gun is our equalizer, Paul. Let's lock the service door, then pick up that blood trail. I'm sure it'll lead us to Maury. Pray God he's dead. We better not separate till then. This beast kills like a wild animal, but it is human. As such, it'll have a certain degree of predatory intelligence.
And there he is, we finally get a good look at the Beast from the beginning of time. Now, the actor playing the Beast is listed in the credits as Nelson Strong, but it's actually the director of the film, Tom Leahy. And Tom Leahy is better known to Wichita folks and horror host aficionados alike as the host from the long-running horror host series, Nightmare.
The persistent monsoon that moans in the night, its breath, a searing flame from the bowels of the underworld, carries on its breast an urgent plea from the quintillions of lost souls that roam the shadow world of that dark dimension. And this message vibrates serpentine-like up a royal, across desolate wastelands, through the oily waters of the amphibian-infested swamps, over the crest of the ice-capped peaks, and down to the blasted hearth to shriek in our attentive audio receptacles that the hour for Nightmare is once again at hand. And what a succulent morsel of good fortune that we were ever at the ready for such a thing, video thieves. For a real blood-icer, bone brittler, the cinema is about to flicker to life on your television screens.
Nightmare premiered on KAKE-TV in 1958 and continued off and on until 1971. He also hosted a children's cartoon show as Major Astro in the 1960s. Mr. Leahy passed away in 2010, but his work as the host lives on YouTube and archive.org. Check it out. We'll be right back.
An evil reborn from the grave of Frankenstein, bringing a macabre nightmare to a teenage world of rock and roll emotions. For the first time, a female descendant of the infamous Frankenstein, deadlier, more terrifying than ever before. He needed her kiss to satisfy his desire, but he wanted her soul for the fiendish creation that was to rule the earth in terror.
I'm sure of one thing. You better hurry before the brain cells are damaged completely.
Frankenstein's daughter. Now everything was ready. Who would be his first victim? Who will feel the cold sting of death?
Kill him! Call her off. Don't make me shoot. Go ahead and shoot. You can't even feel it. Kill him! Back! Get back! Kill him!
For the most suspenseful and gripping moments you have ever spent, see this masterpiece of Scream a Second Terror.
Now back to the Beast from the beginning of time, as the Beast is loose. And our next segment contains a bit of rubber gore and red paint, so if you're squeamish, really, it's only rubber gore and red paint.
Well, the lights are gone. Is Charlie's flashlight working?
Looks all right here, Doctor.
That should do. Let's pick up the trail again. From the looks of this, boy doesn't stand a prayer. Nathan here.
Here, hold the light, Doctor.
Oh, boy. God. Boy. Lock the door, Paul. We don't want this beast getting in Lori's body again.
You found the possibility it might be carnivorous?
Yes, and we better recover Charlie's body and lock it in my office until we can contact the police. Let's go. He's gone. It's already taken him. Come on. He's dragging through there. The pistol's loaded. Let's go. There it is.
goes. I suppose it didn't even phase him, Doctor. I could see the sludge turning into his body.
Sound of the gun seemed to frighten him. Let's go for the police.
Rain stopped.
Stop it, Gary. Please, it's getting awfully late. No! No, please, for God's sake, no!
Where, Miss?
Down there!
What? It's all right. Take it easy now. Try to tell us what happened.
A man, look what a creature is
That's the boyfriend over here. Soul Crush. Look here.
These that thing's footprints?
Yes, this would be.
They lead off over the woods over here.
Another patrol car?
That sure must have spun down, Judith. Do you think that thing's headed back to the museum?
I would imagine so, yes.
Raj, go up and tell. Wait a minute. Here he comes now. Dispatcher tell you what you're dealing with?
Yeah, as much as he knew.
All right, get back up on that road and take that girl back to town. And hop over to the Cornfield Museum just as fast as that car will take you.
Go around to the service door. It's unlocked.
Raj, you come with me. We're going to track that thing back through the woods right now.
We'll go with you.
All right. Here. You know how to use it? Raj, give me your shotgun. Everybody ready? Let's move out.
Charlie, open up. It's Miss Crawford. Charlie? Charlie? Bernie?
boundless power ties these two together in a love tainted by strange, sinister terror. The siren song of the sea, pulsating like a bongo beat, calling, driving the sea people.
You saw
saw how she looked at me, how she spoke to me. She's one of them. She's one of the sea people, and Johnny, I'm so afraid.
You're a stranger here, and I guess you don't know what everybody here knows.
Ellen, dear.
In the past 2 years, Maura's had 2 boyfriends, and they're both dead now.
This one has plenty of fight in him.
Never before has man been transformed into such hideous proportions. Never have teenage girls been subjected to the terrifying ordeal in the fantastic room of torture. Prisoners on this island of the mad must fight desperately to preserve a sane and conscious mind. This strange and powerful story has been acclaimed as the most terrifying of all time, as it bursts forth the unequaled horror of an island of monsters created by a human beast.
Now, on to the conclusion of The Beast from the Beginning of Time, as Elise is being stalked by the aforementioned beast, and, after the conclusion, a special surprise. Oh, and, there's some more rubber gore and red paint coming up, so it's okay.
He's back in the building. Here comes Don. Rod, you stand guard here and blast that thing if it comes through the window again. We'll go around to the service door and meet him.
What helped you up? Put a doggone car.
Doctor, cease his car.
I know, that's right.
It's the lady. It came from in there. Elise, where are you?
He's got Elise.
Hold your fire. You might hit her.
Thanks, Scotty.
How? He took the full blast. I'm afraid our weapons are completely ineffectual. They can't harm us. What do you mean? I don't know for sure, but these guns can't kill him. See those wounds in his chest? Those are the ones I fired into him earlier. But we've got to get Elise away from it. I'll take care of that. Looks like you're wrong, Doctor. It is dying. I'll finish it off. No, wait. You'll only mutilate the body. He's not dying. What's wrong with him?
Oh, we know the electrical storm reanimated him, Paul. Now I believe the energy he received is just about dissipated. Wait just a moment, officer, and we'll be able to take him without resistance.
That's it. He's dead. No, he's just become inanimate. Well, we can sure blow him to pieces.
No, no!
There's got to be something. That just could do it. I've got an idea.
Oh, finally it is dead.
I don't understand.
Our modern weapons were useless against it, Paul. It was by a bizarre trick of nature that it could even exist in our time. And equally bizarre, it could only be destroyed by something from its own time. The dinosaur bone.
Is it the end? Yes, yeah, it is the end. I mean, as far as we know, at least they never made a sequel. And if you can explain to me, logically, why bullets wouldn't kill the beast, but a dinosaur spike driven into his chest could, please, type up your explanation in clear, concise language with all relevant footnotes, then print it out, fold it 5 ways, put it in an envelope, and bury it in your backyard while asking yourself why you even bothered worrying about it in the first place. I mean, I have to, but you?
Doomed to produce a race of ever-living monstrosities, such as this thing. Worse, can a ruthless woman of great wealth buy this living flesh so she may live on like the vampire of legend? Deep underground in this chamber of horrors, bodies are for sale. The bodies of young girls. And this is the buyer. Girls are experimented on like animals in this house of horror, where the only escape is death. Strange legends tell of vampires that crawl from graves. Does the world again face this monstrosity?
My lords and ladies, as always here in the Wrackin Theater, a short film means a big surprise. And tonight, we have a classic episode from a classic TV series based on a classic old-time horror radio show. The show is Lights Out, one of the most popular of the old-time radio series, which premiered in 1934 and ran until 1947, making the leap to television in 1949. The radio series was created by writer and producer Willis Cooper, who left 2 years into the run of the show, turning Lights Out over to the very capable hands of Arch Obler, who oversaw the bulk of the show's run. Willis Cooper moved to Hollywood where, in 1939, he wrote the screenplay for the Universal classic Son of Frankenstein. Ha ha! Well, let's dive into this blast from the past. From 1951 comes the Lights Out episode, And Adam Begot.
Lights Out.
Well, have you ever considered time and space, how indefinite each is? For example, what is a minute, or a month, or 1,000,000 miles? Just terms that men have manufactured. Is there actually much difference between a split second and 10,000 years? I wonder.
Lights out.
Lord, you've got enough grease on you to swim the channel.
He is a sight, isn't he?
An understatement, Jeffrey. He's a sensation.
We might have known we'd get a flat here in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, don't worry. Claude's very clever with machines, aren't you, dear?
You should try working with your hands, Jeffrey.
I'm sorry I'm such a dud at machinery.
Don't be stuffy, Jeffrey. If he thought you ought to help him, he'd shout at the top of his voice. Huh?
Oh, here.
Yeah, don't you think so?
I'm afraid Jeffrey will never appreciate my virtues. He likes men who sit around tables and talk. I don't like sitting. I like action.
Diplomacy, my dear friend, is the civilized way of getting things done.
Civilized? Why not be honest about it? You and I hate each other. Why? Because we both want the same woman. We should fight about it, not quibble.
Look, my two heroes, I'll neither be fought for nor negotiated over. That should disqualify both of you. Now, come on, let's get going.
The tire's fixed.
Clever Claude, isn't he, Jeffrey?
Mm-hmm. We'll be hours late as it is for the party.
Oh. We missed the turn for Dordogne back here.
But I always thought these roads in France were so clearly marked.
They are. You were driving. I was sleeping. Now, we got to go back here.
Oh, dear. Oh, that way.
Le Moustier. An interesting country. They found Neanderthaloid skeletons here. Cavemen.
In these hills?
On this very road.
Oh, that's impossible, Jeffrey. They wouldn't be on the surface.
We're not on the surface, Kate. This road cuts through the hill.
J'ai dansé un soir. Interprété par l'accordéoniste.
The archaeologists followed the road crews. And in rocky banks like these, the giant bulldozers turned over.
No. What is it? Claude?
It's incredible.
Jeffrey, he's only trying to frighten us. Now, Claude, if there's going to be any nonsense about finding a lot of old bones around...
What is this? Oh. Claude? Did you arrange this?
No, I saw it on the surface when I put away the tools.
The car must have uncovered when it skidded off the road.
Claude, is that...
A skull. A human skull.
Oh, ghastly. Well, we'll have to report it to the police, I expect. It's probably a local murder.
I think this is far too old to interest the police.
Claude, do you really mean...
You're not asking us to believe that that was a Neanderthal man?
Possibly.
Oh, it's horrid. It's ugly.
You think so? Imagine how it was in life.
Thank you, I'd rather not.
The brain capacity was small, very small. The Neanderthaloid man had a very different mentality from ours. The back parts of the brain, which control the sight and touch and strength, were well developed. But the front parts...
Yes, that's all very well, Claude, but we'll never get to Dodonia at this rate. Kay, would you mind asking your erudite friend to interrupt his soliloquy with Yorick, and let's get started?
Come on, Claude.
I'll be right with you.
Aren't you going to take it with us? It must be very valuable.
It's priceless. But the paleontologist must know exactly where it was found. This rag will mark the place. Now. Shall we go?
Well, I trust you'll be able to find the right turn this time, Claude.
Don't worry, I'm driving.
Oh, I do wish you two would stop quarreling.
That's up to you. Choose between us.
I like you both. That is, I dislike you both equally.
That's nonsense.
No, it's emotion. Something you wouldn't know about in the State Department.
Listen, Claude, I've stood for about enough of your ribbing. Don't you suppose I know you're just trying to play up the case?
Don't push me too far, my friend.
This great pose of virility. I've heard it often covers the exact opposite.
Gentlemen, that's enough for today.
I'm warning you, Jeffrey. I've got a very short temper.
The mark of an infant.
Why, you stripe pants cookie pusher.
Claude, the road!
They weren't here.
They weren't here. You find some evidence.
Jeffrey, are you all right?
Kay.
Oh, I'm so frightened.
Are you all right?
I think so. Jeffrey, I don't know where Claude is.
We went over the cliff.
Yes. We must have been thrown clear of the cars up there.
Here, help me. Oh! Throw that down. It's broken, I guess.
Jeffrey, where's Claude?
Well, if he wasn't thrown clear of the car.
He wasn't in it, I looked.
Brush is so thick here. We might as well start looking here.
Claude?
Claude!
Hey! Jeffrey!
There he is. Over there. Come on, hurry. Are you hurt?
My knee's twisted.
Oh, Claude, let me see. Oh, I should try to get the dirt out. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm afraid that you're going to hurt.
I'm sorry I can't help, old man, but this left arm of mine...
Still, we're lucky. The trees must have broken the fall. Look at the height of that cliff.
Yes. You can't see the road at all.
Cold.
Listen to that wind.
Freezing.
It's the middle of July. Here.
Jeffrey Claude. What is this? The car goes over the cliff. We're not killed. It's the middle of summer. And now, suddenly it's like winter.
There must be some logical explanation. I know this country. There are never such cold winds in July.
Oh, Claude.
I'm all right.
Oh, we've got to find help somehow.
All I want now is some water.
I'll look for some.
I'll go. I won't be long.
Be careful.
Be careful. Give me a hand.
Assume the position and open your minds wide. It's time for your cranial cavity search. Yes, my lords and ladies, the cranial cavity search. Here's a chance for all you great geeks out there to prove your geek cred by showing what you know. And tonight's cranial cavity search question is: which vintage dinosaur movie featured this handsome and hairy fellow? Which dinosaur movie is he from? Is it A, The Lost World, B, Dinosaurus, C, 100 million years BC, or D, The Forgotten World? Which dinosaur movie is this guy from? We'll find out after these rather primitive interruptions. And the answer to tonight's cranial cavity search question: which dinosaur movie featured this caveman? It was B, Dinosaurus. Yes, Dinosaurus, the 1960 dinosaur romp in which an undersea explosion awakens not only our Neanderthal friend, but also this reptilian nightmare. In 1964, Dinosaurus was re-released on a double bill with the 1958 monster classic, The Blob. Oh, that must have been a great night out at the drive-ins. But now, on to the conclusion of And Adam Begot, as our unlucky travelers become even more unlucky.
Oh. You better sit here quietly.
Quietly? I can't sit quietly. A stick. Get me a stick, then I can get up.
Listen.
Someone coming. Hey?
No. Wait over there, look.
Some farmer. He'll be all right now.
Of course. He's coming through the brush now. Oh. Who is it?
No, it can't be.
What?
Look at it.
Who is it?
You don't understand. Look at the short, hairy, twisted body. The neck bent, the head pressed forward, those enormous brow ridges, that broad, flat nose.
What are you driving at? Who was that?
You saw him? That face like a nightmare?
No, it's just some mental case wandering through the forest. That's all. Kay!
We've got to find him.
Kay!
Hey!
Where are you? Kay! Kay! Kay!
We're back where we started. Complete circle.
You should have waited here.
It would be just as dangerous.
What are you talking about?
There should be saber-toothed tigers. Another animal.
Don't be absurd.
Well, you saw him, that man.
Well, what about it?
Well, I believe what I see. I saw a reproduction once in the British Museum.
You're not serious.
Look. Now look around you. Do you see what's happened? Look around you. The Mousterian era.
You're not seriously considering... No.
I believe what I see.
It's nonsense. Hallucination. My nerves are all shot. That's what it is. Natural enough to make a mistake.
And why is it so cold? Is that a mistake? It's cold because time has moved back to the third interglacial age. There. Look. A campfire. It wasn't there before.
A cave. I don't remember seeing that cave. There's somebody down there. Let's go down. We'll get whoever it is to help us. Come on, hurry. Hurry. It's the fellow we saw, all right?
Keep your voice down, he might hear us.
But what kind of a man is that?
Time and time I told you. The Neanderthal man.
They died 50,000 years ago. You said so yourself. But they don't come back to life.
We've gone into his life. He hasn't come into ours.
What about Kay?
Keep your voice.
But Kay, me.
He isn't there. Look.
And she's lost.
Keep your voice down, I warn you. His senses must be as keen as an animal. God, I wish I had a gun.
Oh, come on. We'll go down there and talk to it.
Talk?
He may be a lunatic, but he may know where Kay is.
Get down, you fool!
I'm going to talk to him. You down there. Look. We want to talk to you.
Oh, what have you done?
I'll settle this. I'm going to climb down there. It's the ugliest creature I ever saw in my life. All right. I'm going down there. You wait here. I'm going to climb down. You in there. We're friends. Friends. Look friendly, Claude. Smile.
Fool, you need a machine gun, not a smile.
He's coming close. He knows we don't mean any harm.
He sees we're harmless against the strength in those arms.
Hey, listen to me. We're friends. You understand? Friends. Here. Money.
Money.
We
For
bring you
him.
money.
Jeffrey, look out!
No! Let me go! Let me go, I tell you! We're friends, don't you understand? Let me go! Let me...
Before what pain the human mind can endure.
Why did he do this to us?
A man with both legs broken can't get very far. What's simpler than tying us up?
Killing would be one thing, but this...
Once I saw a gypsy break the wings of a wild goose. Food in a cold, bitter world is hard to get. It's not particular. Meat is meat.
Matches. I wonder where Kay is.
I I've been thinking about her when I can think.
I can't see him.
Perhaps I can twist around.
I never thought the time would come when I couldn't reason a thing out. Bones broken, thrown down like a side of beef. Wait, for what?
Listen, someone's coming from the cave.
Kay, Catherine, is that you?
No! Jeffrey!
Are you all right?
Both of you all right?
Yes. What happened to you?
Some sort of a beast. He was hardly a man. He found me and brought me here.
Say, man.
I found the way out in the back. Come, can we climb quickly?
Climb quickly.
Come on, hurry!
We're hardly at liberty to climb anywhere, my dear.
Why not?
A matter of broken bones.
What's happened to us? Is he really a Neanderthal?
Yes.
But those men died centuries ago.
Something about the car back up in the cliff. Some other dimension in time. I don't know. The pain's real.
We've got to do something, do you hear me? I won't die like this. I can't die like this. Do something! Do something! I'm sorry. I never could feel pain.
Try not to think of it, Jeffrey.
All my life I knew just what to say. Now,
Jeffrey, don't.
now let me talk. Well, I can't. I'm still a man, and I won't be when he gets in here.
I had a gun.
It could all be settled so neatly at a conference table, couldn't it? I never met brute force before in all my life.
He's coming closer.
I had a gun.
But you can't reason with unreason, can you? When you're facing brute force, all the words and ethics and logic and good faith don't mean anything.
I had a gun.
You've got to face force with force. And a gun is force. And I've got a gun. It went with my job. I hated it. I never expected to use it.
Wait.
It's in the inside pocket of that jacket. I can't breathe. Then I'll stop him. I'll do it.
No. We go on living.
I killed him. And yet it's 50,000 years before we were born.
It isn't real. It can't be. God, it can't be real. It hasn't happened, has it?
Perhaps not. You know where we are now in time? Back up there on the cliff where the car skidded off the road. Where I found that Neanderthal skull. 50,000 years from now. I thought it was art then. That skull had a hole in it. A little, round, smooth hole. A bullet hole.
Impossible, you say? Don't be too sure. There are stranger things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our feeble philosophies.
NBC Television.
Well, my lords and ladies, our prehistoric pandemonium for the evening has ended. But if you enjoyed this episode of Lights Out, and enjoy Golden Age television, then check out my exclusive weekly Patreon series, Lord Blood-Rah's Cathode Zone, in which I present episodes of genre classic TV shows just like this one. More info at patreon.com/Lord Blood-Rah. And for you old-time radio horror fans out there, I would invite you to check out my podcast, Lord Blood-Rah's Wrackin Auditorium, which features the best of old-time radio horror and science fiction. It's available wherever podcasts are available. Well, my lords and ladies, I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to invite you all back again next week when we'll do whatever this is all over again. As always, I am Lord Blood-Rah saying, geek out.